Beans are my favorite thing to grow in the garden, and they're the easiest thing to grow in the garden. They grow quickly and they produce a lot. I have several different kinds of beans in my garden, both for fresh eating and for dry beans. So come along with me into the garden. I'm going to share with you the different kinds of beans I have, and I will walk you through from planting to harvest, and you can have a great harvest of beans this year too.
All I have needs I have not provided.
So first of all, a tour of all the different kinds of beans I have. This is cranberry beans. This is Cherokee Trail of Tears beans. Both of them are grown for the dry bean. Some people eat them green, but both of them are just too fibrous for me, so I only grow them for dry beans. These beans are actually an experiment that I'm doing. I saw a bag of dry lima beans at Aldi, and I thought, well, why not try to grow them? So far, I don't see any blooms, so maybe they're not going to do anything, but I love experiments, and why not try? Here are two different kinds of butter beans. This is a bed of Henderson butter beans. They're small, about the size of your thumbnail, and these are Ford Hook butter beans, and they're much bigger, probably about twice that size. In this bed, I have two different kinds of beans. Most of it is Bush Blue Lake green beans, and then from about here down are flat Italian beans. Now, we love flat Italian beans, but not good enough to want to preserve them. So I save most of my bed for the green beans that I love to can. So I'm back to the cranberry beans, and you see here the leaves are already starting to turn yellow. They grow quickly, they bear beans quickly, and then they die off quickly. Look, here's what they look like as they're maturing. They look like an Italian bean at first, but as they fill out, the pods will become more round, kind of like this one. And the beans inside will continue to fill out, and they'll turn into a really pretty, kind of a creamy white bean with red swirls on them. Now, you leave cranberry beans on the bush until they're dry. The bushes will dry up and the beans will be really easy to harvest. The Cherokee Trail of Tears are so beautiful, and their blooms are just gorgeous. They will start making beans pretty quickly, but I don't care to eat them green because they are pretty stringy. But I let them go until the pods, let's see if I can get there we go. The pods will dry up, and then they're easy to pick. Now here in Florida, in another 5 or 6 weeks, it's going to start raining a lot. And what I discovered with the Trail of Tears is if it's starting to rain and the pods are drying, they could rot before they actually dry. So I will pick them when they're kind of yellow and shriveling. This is the Henderson bush beans. So they will kind of make a long stem and make their beans all along the stem. They like to put their beans out pretty much all at once, and you might get 2 or 3 pickings from them. But see here, we've got a lot of blooms and beans forming all underneath already. So the harvest will last for probably 4 weeks, maybe. The first one, not very many. The second time, quite a few. And then after that, it just kind of dwindles. These are Ford Hook bush beans. And you see, they're just now blooming. They don't have any beans on them yet. So they take quite a long time. I have grown the large lima beans, King of the Garden, and just been disappointed in them. They make a beautiful vine for me and not very many beans. So I've opted to grow the Ford Hook lima beans, bush variety. They have done well for me in the past. So in this long bed of green beans here, we have Bush Blue Lake on one side, and then starting about here and over are the Italian beans. We've already harvested the Italian beans a couple of times, and they are still blooming, so they will continue to give green beans, but as they get older, the beans aren't as big and long like this one over here. This is a nice one. There's a nice one. So they start out this way, and then they get to be maybe, see here, like a little bite or two. And then right next to it is the Bush Blue Lake green beans. Bush Blue Lake is my favorite green bean because it's so prolific. The bean bushes just give and give and give. And you see they're still blooming. So you'll get a few in the first harvest, and then maybe just 4 or 5 days later, you're probably going to have to can them. You'll have so many. Look at how many there are on one bush. And since we eat green beans year round, and I love canned green beans, that is one of the main crops in my spring garden. So this is all green beans, and those beautiful dark bushes you see behind there, those are black-eyed peas, and they are just now starting to bloom. When you're preparing the bed to plant your green bean seeds, you want the soil to be loose. And oddly enough, you don't want the soil to be overly rich. So be careful not to fertilize it too much. Green beans don't need near as much as the corn you see behind me. So I pretty much just prepare the beds with a little bit of fertilizing elements to begin with, and then I never fertilize them again. So when your bed is ready, you want to plant your seeds about 3 inches apart. And then if you have rows, I have 2 rows here, they need to be about 12 inches apart. Now, if you have a garden where you need to walk in between your rows, then you want to give yourself probably 18 to 24 inches apart to give yourself room to walk in between the rows. So these bean plants are approximately 3 inches apart. And once your bean plants get to be about 4 to 6 inches tall, then you can side dress with leaves. I highly recommend a dry material like hay or leaves. They love the oak leaves that you see here. Green beans do take quite a bit of water. So when you're checking to see if your beans need water, just stick your finger down to the first knuckle, and if it's dry, they need water. And when you do water, you want to water as early in the day as possible. That way they can dry out and be dry for the rest of the day. And the reason why that's important is because beans can be susceptible to disease that's brought on by wet, damp weather. And so one thing that I'm always looking out for is rust. That is the one disease that my beans here in Central Florida have a tendency to, they're susceptible to that. So I use sulfur. It's a wettable sulfur. So this is a ton of sulfur. It will last me for years. You don't need very much. So as soon as you see sulfur or rust on your leaves, you just sprinkle the top of the leaves, and if you see rust underneath, you're going to sprinkle a little bit of the powder there too. So when you're ready to harvest, just pull them up. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but a lot of times I'll hold the stem before I pull it because my soil is pretty sandy and they're not anchored in there real secure. And sometimes when I get overly enthusiastic about picking, I'll pull the bush up with the beans. So pull them straight up, and they come off quite easily. Now do you see these? Just give them a couple more days and they'll be big. And then further up, you see that one? That'll be ready in about 5 or 6 days. Now here's a sign that there could be a rust problem trying to start. So when I'm finished with the picking the green beans today, I'll go back through and I'll just dust the leaves a little bit. Here's another one where I see some rust starting. When your harvest is completely done and the plants are starting to die back, then go ahead and pull them up. You don't want to leave them. Pests just love to hide in old vegetable plants. And so what I do is I pull them all up and I dig a trench right down the middle where they were growing. And then I put the spent plants down in there and cover them over with the dirt. So basically all you've taken from the soil is the green beans. You haven't taken the plant as well. And green bean plants will actually enhance your soil. So you've got free fertilizer growing right here as well as vegetables. Well, there you have it. It really is that easy to grow beans, whether you just want green beans or whether you want to grow dry beans as well. I'll guarantee you that tonight we're going to be eating my favorite green bean recipe, and you'll see that video right here where you can click on it. Thanks for watching. Please pause and give it a green thumbs up. I really appreciate your time, and I hope it was helpful. Why not subscribe? I have over 200 videos of all kinds of vegetable growing.
Great is thy faithfulness, Lord, unto